Hey guys, Parfax here, and today I'm bringing you one of my favorite builds I've ever played in New World. Alright, let's get started. So we're here in New World, and I'm bringing you guys a Sword and Shield Greataxe build. Before we dive into it too deep, I wanted to tell you why I made this build and why I chose the things that I chose. So first, I wanted to make a build that was pretty much good everywhere. When it comes to PvP, I wanted to be able to play open world very effectively. I want to be able to play OPRs, 3v3s, and wars. Now, I will say that this build is probably at its weakest in war. This isn't the greatest of war builds because we are running a little bit more of a mobile setup. You can still play this as like a catch, but it doesn't quite give the pop that you need in wars, like the big AoE pop. But if you're still just maybe running an assassin style play style, this would be pretty good. But I will say that this is definitely at its weakest in war. Now, we are in medium armor, as you see here, but I really hate the medium armor dodge. So what I've done is I've run double gap closer to really negate the fact that we are in medium armor. This allows us to be super mobile, and this build can catch almost anybody. Yes, if you miss time like rapier and stuff like that, they can still get away, but this build is very good at catching just about anybody. We have so much maneuverability, we have so much speed, we have double gap closer, we have reap, we have gravity well, we have a lot of tools. And some people may think of things like charge and reap as more of a catch ability, but they can actually also do a ton of damage. All right, so let's get into the skill tree, and that's where we're going to start. So first, let's go ahead and look at the sword and shield, and this is my build. Now, I know a lot of people, they run different trees and everything like that, but this is what I've chosen. So we have empowering backs, we have empowering stab here, we have Achilles heel. We really, this is one of the most important perks here, especially next patch. We're going to be getting the slow off of leaping strike next patch, and we really want to be able to get that slow on Achilles heel. It is very important. We're running a lot of the damage stuff here. We have precision, we even have mobility. Honestly, you can drop this for anything else. You can get this one where you block, you get some empowerment. Successful heavy attacks make you lose a debuff. Those are both really good, but we need enough passives here, and we got that just in case. But honestly, you probably should take over there and either get counterattack and free injustice. So just know that this is an ability here that you can change up however you want. But because we're going mobile, I wanted to maybe get this. Honestly, it's really not that great, but you know. Then we have Opportunist, which is really good because, again, we want to have Achilles heel, but we're trying to slow the targets down, and we'll show you something really good on the other bar. Then we have Confidence. While health is full, deal 15% more damage. That's great. And then we have Critical Precision. On critical, gain 20% haste for 5 seconds. So again, we are trying to go fast. And then we are getting Leadership. This is going to be great for your team while we're on our sword and shield bar, which we're going to be on a decent amount of time. This is going to give our entire team a massive 10% bonus, which is actually pretty good. Next here on the defender side, now this is where you can change it up a little bit as well. I am taking all the way down to shield bash. I do like the extra 1 second stun here. We can get when we get the stun off, even next patch, you're gonna be able to do a fully charged heavy into it, or you can even swap to the Greataxe and get a nice little combo off there. But most of the time, you're gonna be shield bashing, and then you're going to give them a fully charged heavy. And then here, honestly, we're just getting some generalized defensive abilities. We're taking Shield Rush. Honestly, you can take whatever other perk you want. My problem is I think Shield Rush is probably the best. It's a way to get out of ice and stuff like that. And you can use it to hit other people. It does have a nice little stagger, and it does push back. The damage it deals is kind of meh. It does give you grit, which can help you get out of some situations as well. You can use it as almost like an additional iframe. Is what I use it probably the most, but it's pretty good. You can go down here, and on successful hit within 5 meters, all targets are weakened for 10% for 10 seconds. But honestly, this isn't the greatest. If you could get down here on a successful hit, all enemies within 5 meters of you are slowed, which is really good, but that's a lot of points, and I don't really go down there. If you really want to take both points out of here, I can definitely see it and put the 2 points into here, but I really do like the extra 1 second stun because it allows me to get a fully charged heavy off on the target after a shield bash, even if I swap to my Greataxe. So honestly, if you wanted to play, if you got this playstyle down a little bit better, I would probably rather put the 2 points down here because honestly, this extra damage, I mean, I have killed a decent amount of people and it is a nice little, like, you know, extra combo, but it's the damage on it's not very great, but I do like that extra stun. If you're running in groups, you definitely should take this off because people are just going to hit the person out of the stun anyway. And then I'm probably going down here and taking this, or we can do something like when you block with the all shields, all sword cooldowns are reduced by 1%, but I don't block that often. Now, before we get into, you know, maybe if you want to take those 2 points out, let's look at the other points we have. We have a sturdy shield, we just get some physical armor. We have reduce all magic attacks by 10%, and then we have the third auto attack, third basic attack does 15% more damage. We don't care about the threat, obviously. And then I love this passive, all incoming healing and regeneration increased by 10%. This I absolutely love. So what you're gonna want to do is make sure when you are on your, you know, popping your potions, when you are standing in sacred ground and stuff like that, you want to make sure you swap to your sword and shield bar. It's going to give you 10% extra healing. Now, if you don't want to take the shield rush perk, you also can get some fortify when blocking. Stamina damage is reduced. Honestly, I'm not blocking melee attacks because you're just going to die if you block melee attacks, so I'm not taking that. If you are getting heavily attacked by range, this is pretty good. If you get caught in something like an ice shower and you don't have stamina, you can use this. But what I find is because of shield rush, some of the attacks that I would be naturally blocking and have to sit there and just block, I can kind of shield rush out of. So if I get an ice shower, I can either dodge, obviously, to kind of negate the attacks they're going, or we can use shield rush to get out of there. So if you're playing in a bigger group, definitely I would take the 2 points out of here and I would put the 2 points down here into shield rush because this is just some extra, it's extra slow and it's some extra, you know, weakened on the targets to help your group out. All right, next let's talk about the Greataxe, and you're going to see this is a little bit different than most people as well. So we are going, of course, charge, reap, and gravity well. Let's talk about the charge side, or sorry, the reaper side, and I love bloodlust. Bloodlust is just a nice little bonus damage. It gives you some speed. This ability, I absolutely love it. Mauler's Fury, you have to kind of proc it up, you have to stack it up, you have to worry about your stacks, blah, 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 blah. Bloodlust gives you some speed and gives you some damage. It is very, I don't want to say turn off your brain, but it's easy to see when you have your bloodlust up, and it's really good. I love bloodlust. Again, we are going for maneuverability, we're going for speed, and we're absolutely clapping people with this. So we're just going 1 point into charge. You can go the extra point down here, but honestly, it's not the biggest thing. That extra damage is okay, but I'm typically not hitting people that much with charge. It is pretty good damage, but I'm not terribly worried about it. We're going all the way down the reap because I love Fatal Attraction. I know some people don't, but because we don't have Maelstrom, this is going to give us some extra pop whenever we want to do our AoE. We can throw down a Gravity Well. Normally you would do Gravity Well into Maelstrom, but if you don't have anybody to catch, you can do a fully charged heavy into a reap into a Fatal Attraction. That's going to do a massive amount of damage as well. Not quite as much damage as if we were doing Maelstrom, but it is still a lot of damage. So then we're going to go Greed. You can definitely go with Executioner Speed. This can be really good as well. But we just didn't take, we don't really need it when we're on our Greataxe because we have Bloodlust, because we have Charge, because we have Reap, because we have Gravity. We have a lot of catch. Next, of course, we're going Death's Embrace. We're going Critical Gains. So we're going for the X. We're giving both points of healing here. We're going for definitely more of a, not self-sustaining, because this isn't necessarily self-sustaining, but we can run things like the Smooth Bone Ring. They're going to help us out, and we're going to be able to heal a decent chunk. So, you know, I do like both the healing perks here. And then we have critical damage, of course. We have whenever your attacks are blocked, gain a stack of damage. And honestly, you can definitely take this out for the speed one. It's probably the best, but I was kind of playing around with frustration, and it's okay. But I would probably take the executioner speed if you're doing anything other than like solo play. If you're doing like 3v3s, I'm probably still taking frustration over executioner speed. You can actually let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, you can actually even go one of the perks over here, which I'll show you here in a second, if you don't want to take frustration. But an extra 15% damage if they just happen to be blocking is still pretty good. And then we have critical conditioning. Greataxe attacks against foes below 30% health have a 15% critical chance. Great. And then of course we are running Bloodlust. Next on the Mauler side, we are going heavy attacks, pull foes closer to you. You can go either one, honestly. Both these are pretty lackluster. And then we have, of course, probably our bread and butter passive here, Enduring Strikes. Add grit to Greataxe heavy attacks, which we really don't care about because we're running 300 strength, but also grants 12% in damage reduction while grit is active. This is your bread and butter. Even though they've nerfed this many times, well, I think twice, this is still a great passive. We're going Gravity Well and we're going Crowded Well. I really don't like Unyielding. Unyielding to me, it gives you Fortify for so little amount of time, and it's so little Fortify that honestly I don't think it's worth the passive. And then we're going Crowded Protection and Center of Attention, and this is just when you have 3 meters or 3 foes within 4 meters, you get 10% damage, and you get 10% damage absorption. Now, if you want to take away frustration, you can go with something like, where's it, right here? Gravity after you pull your foes are rooted for 0.33 seconds. This is honestly a little bit better most of the time in frustration. We do have Gravity Well, which pulls. We do have Reap, which pulls, and this will mean if they dodge, they will get actually rooted. And actually, we are going to go ahead and switch that over. That's what I had originally, but we took it out, and this, there we go. All right, that's probably going to be my tree right there. I have played around with it, and I was trying this, and I think in certain situations that extra damage is good. We have a lot of catch, which can be really good, but this gravity perk here can be really good against the target. As soon as you reap them, they want to dodge out of it. So this can be really good. This perk isn't as good as it seems a lot of the times, but it can be used as a way to kind of eat somebody's dodge, essentially. All right, next, let's talk about gear. And I have some pretty good gear, so you're not going to need all this. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's we get the wrong amulet on here. But let's go over the gear. So we are running the Raider's hat, and I absolutely love this hat for this build. We have Freedom, we have Resilient, we have Refreshing. I don't have enough Freedom yet. We're going to get a little bit more coming up in the patch. But Freedom gets a nice buff, and it's going to be really good next patch. It's really good now, but you're only going to need a couple pieces now. But the Raider's hat's super strong. We have a medium chest piece with Strength, Con, Shirking Fortification, Resilient. We want some Shirking Fortification. We're going to be dodging a lot. We want to get that extra Fortify. It's really, really good, of course. We have Insatiable Gravity Well, Resilient on our gloves, which we were running heavy gloves. And of course, really good. You want Insatiable Gravity Well is probably the best perk you want. It's going to be the most needed perk. Then we have my light pants here. Now, that Repulsing Shield Bash is horrible right now, but it is getting better next patch. So we have Elemental Version, Repulsing Shield Bash, Resilient. Of course, you would want Freedom or Shirking Fortification here would be better. But Elemental Version's not bad. I got these for not terribly expensive. And then we have probably my best piece of gear. We have Strength, Shirking Fortification, Resilient, Empowering, Leaping Strike. Really, really good. These would be considered BIS, and I got these for pretty cheap as well. A lot of this gear you can get pretty cheap because people don't use the sword and shield as much. I mean, they do, but especially some of the weird pieces. The reason why my setup looks a little bit weird, you can go all medium, I believe, and then the round shield. But I got these pair of boots, and I want to see if I can make them fit. And with the ability to have these boots plus run the Raider's hat, it allowed me to just get a couple pieces of gear, and we were able to hit that 22.9 weight class. Then let's go to the jewelry. We're just running Champion's Amulet, which is just absolutely crazy. Get this, you're never going to put this down for a very long period of time. We're running Smooth Bone Ring. You can also run the Champion's Ring. You can also run a random ring with slash damage. Slash damage is probably a little bit better, but with this, we do have some extra sustain, which is really good, and it's still a pretty good weapon, but you prefer here maybe hardy, slashing, leeching, or just running the Champion's Ring, which I have right here. And then, of course, last but not least, we have the Doom's Chance Earring. You're just going to put this here and forget about it. You can technically get an upgrade here, but this is so generically good that honestly you really don't worry about it. Then we comes to our weapons. We have a sword here with refreshing move, thwarting strikes. We want thwarting strikes on both our sword and our great axe. This is going to be your best perk. And then after that, we want refreshing move. We want something like chain. We want like attunement. Those are all really good. Next patch, your probably best sword is going to revolve around a thwarting strikes, either refreshing move, chain, or attunement. Probably refreshing move, and then empowering leaping strike, but it's not gonna be the easiest to get. Let's not get picked here. And then we have our shield, which is actually really good. We have Keen Enchanted, Keenly Empowered. I actually just bought this the other day. I actually have a ton of shields. I can show you kind of a couple shields you might want to get. I have Holding Together, which is vicious and keenly empowered, which is really good. And then we have this is kind of what you are looking for if you can get the Shield Rush perk on here. We have Keen, Vicious, and Fortifying Shield Rush. If we get something like Enchanted and maybe Refreshing Move on here with Fortifying Shield Rush, or maybe Vicious, Keenly Empowered, Enchanted, Keenly Empowered, and Fortifying Shield Rush would be your best shield. We're probably going to try to craft one of those next patch. And then for your Great Axe, it's very typical. Thwarting Strikes. We have a chain on here. You can go, of course, Refreshing Move if you're going for a little bit more of a war setup. Attunement, obviously also good, but if you haven't watched my video, there is a what I would consider to be very close to best Great Axe that is coming from the new dungeon, which is going to be Thwarting Strikes, Keenly Empowered, and Crippling Reap, which is probably that or Gravwell is what you're going to want on your Great Axe. But honestly, for this build specifically, you're going to want Reap. Reap is going to be your bread and butter. Reap is pretty crazy, and you're really going to want Reap on your weapon. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. We should have a couple PvP clips coming up after here. All the stuff that I had actually recorded was for basically the way I ran my build the other way, and I wanted to make sure I brought you guys a more up-to-date version of the build and didn't have something that's a little bit, I don't want to say janky, because it wasn't janky, but it was just a lot better for, you know, pre-nerf Sword and Shield. We kind of did a one-shot combo with the Great Axe, with the Sword and Shield, kind of did that way, and I wanted to make sure that we weren't going to do the whole one-shot, you know, stagger with the Sword and Shield into the stun. But this play style is a lot more fluid. You don't have to worry about landing the stun. Honestly, you can use the sword for just a gap closer and some catch a little bit if you need to, and then use Fortifying Shield Rush to kind of get a little bit extra tankiness or to kind of get out of, you know, whatever you need to get out of. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed these PvP clips after here, and I will see you next time. Peace.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your cloud, it be raining now. I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 live, cause I just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. That's how you get big box, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot.